Hello everyone, Josh here with Unveiled, and today we're going to be doing a quick recap over the latest 1.2 update that's coming to 7 Daily Since Origin. They just hosted a live stream a few hours ago going over all this good stuff. Now, there are a few things that may not be as exciting for a lot of you, but there definitely was quite a few exciting things that are coming that are definitely going to help improve the game and make it more enjoyable for everyone, from free to play all the way up to, of course, the whales. You can see here that Escanor will be coming in the next 2 days. It was delayed by a day. It was supposed to come tomorrow, but now we're going to have to wait till Thursday for a lot of you out there. But that's fine. They are giving us various rewards. There's going to be various events. There's going to be a new act for the story. There's going to be new side quests, obviously. So that means more gems, which I'm sure a lot of you are starving for right now. And all that good stuff and more. And there's also going to be some future content coming on the 29th, which will be in the form of a new tower. Or if you've played like Genshin Impact, an Abyss mode per se. So Escanor is coming with 3 weapons, obviously like every other character. He's going to be doing 2 elements, light and fire. Fire for his axe, which also will have a skin from the skin banner, which I know a lot of you free-to-plays do not care about that, but that will feature Rita. He will have a light great sword and a fire sword and shield. They all, of course, have their own individual playstyles and skill sets, which again we may go over in a future video. We'll break down him and kind of compare him to Meliodas and some of the other current meta and DPS units in the game, and kind of how he stacks up based on the information we already have. Maybe we'll drop that video tomorrow or later today. I'll have to see what kind of time I have, but let's skim through this live stream. The link to the official live stream will be in the description below, so definitely go check that out if you guys want to, of course, support the creators, support, 7 Daily Sins Origin in general, and get all the dialogue and all that other missing context you may not be getting into today's video. Anyways, let's go and skim through. All right, so we have Escanor Axe. We're not going to go over all this kit because, like I said, I'll save that for another video where we go more in depth into him. So we're just going to kind of let that skim through. We'll talk about it briefly. So, I mean, it looks like on his axe, for the most part, his damage output is going to be really scaling to the fact that you're going to want to have as much HP as possible, because the more HP you have and the more current HP you have available, which means you don't want to take too much damage when you're utilizing Escanor's abilities, his damage is going to really greatly scale to your HP, either current or max. So getting as much HP on your team as possible while running Axe, I almost said Meliodas, Axe Escanor would be obviously ideal. So that's definitely something to consider when you're talking about team builds, what type of gear and weapons you want to put on some of your characters, etc., etc. So that'll be basically, in a nutshell, a quick version of what Escanor Axe is all about. Let's try and go through a little bit here more over this way. We're just kind of skimming through the Greatsword. Now, the Greatsword is going to be more based on dots, right? You're going to be focusing a lot on the burn aspect. And this could be a lot of fun if you're running, like, your Burster for Rapier Gila, for example. She's also built around doing a lot of burns and stuff like that. And if you get your stacks up really high, he's going to do, of course, a lot more damage output, as well as also increasing the damage over time dot itself. So the dot for burn will do more damage and have shorter intervals to where it'll trigger. So, basically more damage for your dots, and your dots are also going to lead to more damage overall when he utilizes his ultimate and things of that nature, because, obviously the burn dot does decrease defense by up to 15% if you get a max 100 stacks on there. So between him and Rapier Gila, you're going to be able to get that off pretty consistently and pretty often, right? So that's going to be a lot of fun if you want to try and run like a burn team. So Rapier Gila could be fun with Escanor for that reason. So we're going to be moving on to the Sword and Shield. The Sword and Shield will be, let's go and just skip that over. So the Sword and Shield is going to be based more around your defense and doing damage based on your max defense, as well as being able to increase, believe he does barriers. He does fire barriers with his Sword and Shield. and they're also going to be scaled to his max defense. So the more defense you have, the more your damage output will be, and of course, the more sustainability you will have on your Escanor. I'm not really seeing a lot of people probably going to be utilizing the sword and shield Escanor more so than the other two builds, just because the other two builds are going to be more flashy, more damage, more fun. They offer a little bit more flexibility as well with the team build itself. Whereas I feel like the sword and shield Escanor will definitely limit you a little bit in how you want to utilize your team, because then you're going to really be trying to stack as much defense as you can on your Escanor, because as we know, only the HP stat goes team wide when it comes to an actual shared stat itself. Whereas like damage, debuff, or defense, stuff like that, that's more of an individual character stat, unless it's an actual buff that is shared by your whole party or your team itself from one of your characters. So there's something there to think about. Let's go ahead and skim across here a little bit more. Okay, what we got here? All right. 2 new engraved equipment for Escanor added. Now, a lot of you were like, well, where's the third one? Other characters are getting 3. They do not have one at this time for sword and shield. But, as you will see later on from this live stream, they actually introduced the prospect of, hey, we will give you a third engrave for that third weapon at some point. It'll just come later down the road. So, as of right now, Escanor does not have a sword and shield engrave. He has an axe one, and he has a greatsword. Now, the greatsword will be using the Revive Nightmare set. I'm not going to really talk much about that. We already know about that set. A lot of us have been farming that a lot already. However, we are getting a new farmable set with this update called the Twisted Wish set, which looks eerily similar to the set that you would see on, I believe, Arthur from Grand Cross, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a minute for me, so I could be wrong, but that set definitely looks a lot like King Arthur from Grand Cross. Anyway, so he has passive Noonday Sun and then passive Burning Sun. Increases the duration of flare attacking an enemy with Sunspot is active. While Sunspot is active, has a chance to grant an additional Sunspot. Using the special attack increases max HP for a set duration. So we'll have to really see what these statistics say on the engraves themselves. Like, what are the main substats that we're getting here? Is there going to be fire attack, and what else does it have to offer? We're also, of course, going to have to see kind of what his stats overall are going to look like in an optimal team, because we don't really get to see that either in this live stream, unfortunately. So again, those are going to be things that we're going to have to deep dive into at a later time. Now, over here, we have each hit on a burned enemy inflicts additional stacks of defense reduction from burn. Attacking a burned enemy increases holy damage. So both these sets are definitely playing heavily into what their kits are for both their weapons, which obviously makes sense, right? So that's cool. We're going to have to see what that's going to look like going forward in an optimal team build, and see what kind of fun we can do with it. Now, as I said before, and maybe I haven't, but the Northern Wildness, that costume, that cosmetic, that is my favorite one on Escanor ever. Throughout the entirety of the anime and manga, that's always been my favorite drip from my boy Escanor right there. So I like that. And that might also be the set that I'd be using anyways, because I'd probably be using Escanor more so than the other 2 weapons anyway, based on what I've read and seen so far. If I do pull him, of course. Alright, so move on. Okay, so now we have the exclusive Escanor skins. Now, this is what I know a lot of you free-to-plays do not care about, and you're not going to care about it ever. And this is basically the paywalled skin banner that they've already done for Meliodas and Daisy. This is how you can get your Sacred Axe Rita. So, I'm not going to talk too much about this. All of you already know what to expect from that, so let's go ahead and move on. Now, they do show some gameplay and stuff like that of Escanor. You guys can check that out if you watch the video. I don't want to go over too much. I just want to kind of skim through the update itself. So, new region, My Sweet Gluttony. A mysterious new area appears in the southern grasslands of Vanya Plains. 7 new gathering materials added. I'm sure a lot of you are so excited to be going out there in the world and gathering more stuff, because I, for one, am excited. Can you not tell? Ghost Orchid, Gleaming Insect Wing, Wild Hop, Watermelon, Quinona, and then we have Sunstone Ore, and then Sunlight Flower. And then it says the Sunlight Flower will be region specialty. So we'll have to see what exactly all those individual materials are going to be used for, because there are going to be new crafting items coming and a new workbench level, which again, I'm sure all of you are just loving it. You're just loving it. You're excited for it. You can't wait. Let's go and skim through some more. Now we're going to get to the actual new boss fight. New boss challenge, Gallon of Truth. He is going to be available in Nightmare, Hell, and Abyss. So a new Abyss mode. Everybody's excited. That's also going to be at 900 gems. It should be, because the first time clears for each one. So, you know, that'll get you almost a third of a multi. Don't get too excited. Weakness element, wind and fire. Very interesting there, because, you know, we're so used to, you know, fire and darkness, earth and darkness. Now we got fire and wind. You Hauser players out there, rejoice, right? You also have a lane as well. Funny enough, Daisy also has a wind build. Maybe we can pursue that in the future. We'll have to see. And then, of course, also Wind Tristan as a possible burster there in that particular team. So Wind team going to make some kind of strides here. Maybe they're going to open up with a new Wind DPS as our next banner after Escanor. Who knows? Commandment of Truth. Periodically applies commandment. Violating the commandment inflicts petrification, which I believe just one-shots you, or pretty much puts you in a position where you're just going to lose or very quickly die. Violating the commandment decreases max HP. Complying with the commandment increases max HP. So, complying with that, and I'm assuming the commandment is something along the lines like you have to use a wind or fire hero, or you're going to be periodically hit with the commandment, which is going to decrease your team's max HP, or possibly increase it if you do comply, which means Escanor is going to be very strong here, because as we know, the axe scales to your HP, so the more HP, the more his damage output will be. So that could definitely play really good into him being in this particular content. Gallon Game applies commandment to all targets and becomes the Gallon Game attacker, then performs a powerful attack. The target hit by the powerful attack becomes the next Gallon Game attacker, greatly reducing damage taken and greatly increasing damage dealt. So that is the new boss. Again, if you want to watch the live stream for yourself, they do show actual gameplay, and we will be using a snippet of that when we do our breakdown for Escanor in another video, because granted, the person who was playing that mode wasn't very good at the game, at least from what I saw, but we could still take a lot of information from that video and analyze Escanor going forward and what type of unit he could possibly be, at least with the axe, because I believe that's the weapon that they used. Alright. Next thing up, a powerful special weapon for fire heroes, Gluttonous Soul Axe, is here. Passive Flames of Life. Each max HP boost received increases fire damage. Now they do show later on in the video what that looks like at max limit break 7, I do believe. Gallon of Truth will be dropping the item Evil Eye of Madness. You can see right there what the cost is going to be to craft. You're going to need a special weapon crafting blueprint. You're going to need 30 platinum, 1 axe shaft, and then 10 premium destruction fragment. So pretty standard there, because it kind of falls in line with the other 2 weapons that we already have that were gluttonous. Okay, moving along. We have 2 new Abyss modes updated. So we're going to be getting an Abyss mode, obviously, for the new Gallon of Truth boss challenge. And then Dungeons, Furs, and Mines. New armor sets and life crystal sets. Now, the Dark Chaos earrings and the life crystal accessory sets have already been there. Low drop chance because it was only hard mode, I believe, in the mines. Now we should be getting Nightmare, Hell, and Abyss. And we're getting Twisted Wish bottoms and combat boots there. And then over here on the Gallon side, we're getting the Twisted Wish top and belt. On top of the Corrupted Watcher's ring. The Eye of the Ominous Star top, which I'm very much looking forward to seeing what that bad boy does for its ability for the gear. And then we have a new gear set. Curse Pulse new accessory set, which is 3-piece there. And it does show you more or less what it's going to do. We don't see the stats on it. They don't want to show us stats of almost anything apparently in this live stream. But here it is. New accessories, Curse Pulse accessory set, Curse Pulse earrings, necklace, and ring. 2-piece set gives you an HP increase. When HP falls below a certain threshold, being hit grants all allied heroes a barrier equal to max HP. And then if you run the 3-piece set, you get darkness resistance, which obviously Gallon's going to be darkness, I'm assuming, for his damage, so that makes sense for it to drop in his area. So this could be something really good to put on your Gila. It could be something good to maybe even put on your Escanor, depending on how much of an HP increase you get and what the main substat percentages go up to at max refine at level 5. And you could also just run 2 pieces of this for that boost, ignore the darkness resistance, and then just run maybe like a different ring for more damage and crit rate or something like the Arachne one. You know, so there's some mix and match you could possibly do with this particular set. You don't have to run all 3 pieces. You only really have to run 2. So that could be a little bit of flexibility there. All right, so moving on to this. Now, this is dropping on the 29th, and this is more or less our tower mode that we're going to be getting for 7 Deadly Sins Origin. This reminds me a lot of Genshin Impact's Abyss. If you've also played like Blue Protocol, they also have something similar as well. So, yeah, we'll have to see how it is. Now, they did say in a live stream, they're not 100% sure, but they think that it resets either monthly or bi-weekly or something like that. And if so, that means we can collect multiple rewards over and over and over again. And the more sectors that they release, the more we can do through each cycle. So that's going to be really, really hype. And hopefully that takes care of a lot of our gem deficiencies right now in the game, because we are really lacking on gems in this game in a major way. Okay. Now, they showcase his skills a little bit in here in his stats. You can see here at a P10 Escanor, his attack is almost 24k, defense is over 22,000, and his HP is almost 64,000. So he's got really, really good stats there. I mean, again, that is a P10, however, so it's not like it's going to be something super easy to get your hands on. Now, we're going to go back a little bit. We're trying to get it where they have... There we go. Let's pause it right there. So as you can see, they have all the SSR weapons, including 2 gluttonous weapons on him, and they're all fully limit broke. So you're seeing this guy at absolute peak stats right now. Level 7, Flames of Life. Each max HP boost received increases fire damage by 7% for 15 seconds, up to 84%. So that's a nice little chunk of damage boost right there, okay? Using the normal skill increases max HP by 20% for 15 seconds. So you got that there. So that's what his new weapon will do. They show a little bit of gameplay. Like I said, we'll save that for another video because I want to kind of deep dive into him a little bit and what he's able to do in battle. You can see right there some of the boss clear rewards, what the required CP is for Abyss mode. You can see is 74,989. They're 91k for this test. Okay, moving on. They do a little bit more gameplay against Gallon. They struggled the first time, beat him the second time. Then here's another big thing. New engraved equipment. 3rd engraved equipment added for existing heroes. So most Malevolent Majesty is awesome. Like, that set looks so clean on Meliodas. That is awesome. So Meliodas is getting some love. Tiara's getting some love. Dredrin, why are you there, bro? We got Daisy, we got Slater, we got Tristan, and we got Gila. Now, Gila's drip also looks really, really good as well. Okay? So that's pretty cool. That's probably going to be for a Rapier build. So they're really trying to make sure that Gila is getting some shine in this update, which is great. Prince's Vow looks pretty cool. Pretty clean drip there as well. And Tristan, that's probably going to be for his wind weapon. His longsword, I believe. Meliodas is getting some love for his dual blades. So that's cool. And then we got, of course, you know, we've already said the other ones there. Daisy, that's probably going to be... Actually, what weapon are we missing for Daisy? I can't really remember off the top of my head. Is it her wind wand? I don't remember. I really don't remember. I have to go back and look at my engraves for her again. But it's pretty cool that we're getting new engraves. Let's go to the next thing here. 6 new pets added. Oh boy, if we needed more things to go catch, right? Now, thankfully, the new riding pet for Hawk, which is Escanor, I'm calling it the One Pig. That's what I'm calling it. I'm dubbing it the One Pig. I also thought about Bar BQ. Nah, we're not going to do... Anyway, Flying Pet, we're getting that on day 3 of the 14-day login event. It's called the Wise Big Hoot. So, you new players out there, you're going to get a flying pet for free. While we all had to go out there and struggle trying to catch dragons and phoenixes, you guys are going to get a flying pet for free on day 3 login. That's crazy, but you know, that's awesome for you guys out there. Trust me, a flying pet makes doing a lot of things in this game a lot easier. You know, don't get me wrong, I love my gliders, especially with the updrift, but flying makes your life so much easier. So that's really cool that they're doing that. We're also getting 3 new hidden pets that you have to find across probably the new story mode. That third one looks like a camel. I hope it spits because that would just be awesome attention to detail. And then we're getting the mobile mining machine, which I already saw the information that wasn't shared in the live stream, but I saw the information on X on what's required to craft that thing, and it is a lot of resources. And let me be honest, it didn't look all that impressive in the video. So the mobile mining machine, do you want to craft it or not? If you're looking at, you know, to finish out your codex, whatever, I might do it just to do it, but I'm telling you, it did not look all that impressive. I hope that it performs a lot better than what they showed in the video because, oh my goodness. But, you know, that'll be for sometime down the road here. All right, let's go to the next stuff here. And here is the new workbench level 6. I know all of you are excited. Please calm down. Keep your hands to yourselves. Please sit down so people can see in the back row, sorry. I know this is just so praiseworthy. I know you're all you just want to jump out of your chairs and go scream outside at the top of your lungs. Because workbench level 3 is here. Or, sorry, workbench level 6 is here. More workbenching level ups we got to do. Oh, man. Don't you all love gathering in this game? Ain't it so fun? Alright. So we need 150 wood, 150 polish, 60 sticky adhesive, and 40 platinum. Now I'm going to tell you right now, to get this workbench level 6 is a lot easier than to craft the mobile mining machine. Let's just put it that way. The mobile mining machine makes the workbench level 6 look like a joke. Just going to leave that out there. Remnants of the Rift we can craft now. That to me largely was always a scam item because it only rerolled the substats, not the main stats. It didn't reroll the ability level, and it did not reroll the quality of the actual engrave. So all those things still need to be pretty much good to even warrant using a Rift in the first place. So after you get through those other layers of RNG, then you can finally try your luck with the Rifts. Sunstone, Alloy, Aqua Crystal, and then a new special HP recovery potion. I don't remember the last time I've ever used an HP recovery potion, so I don't know if that's going to change. We'll have to see what some of this new content is really going to have in store for us. Can they even be used in a new tower? Is the tower going to be extremely difficult? We'll have to see. But as of right now, I don't think a lot of us are really using HP recovery items. So we'll see how it goes going forward. All right. New crafting blueprints. Now, this is a nice touch because I know there's been situations where I'd farm certain content over and over and over again, like 10, 15 times, and it just kept giving me boots or just kept giving me the bottoms, and I'm like, bro, I need the other piece, and it didn't want to drop it. Well, now you can use that boss's main drop currency to craft the piece that you actually need for your engraved set. So that is a huge improvement. Kudos to them for that one. This might be one of the best things that they've added in the entire update. Continuous tracking feature added. Finally. Now if they would just bunch up some of these resources to, you know, group them up more instead of having them so spread out, we'd be in big business then. Or even add a dispatch feature, which would be even greater. But This is a major, and I mean major, improvement over what it was before. If you're a new player and you have not played this game yet, and you haven't gotten into the whole world of gathering in 7 Deadly Sins Origin yet, you don't even know the pain we've all been living through. This is going to be a game changer for a lot of us out there, especially when it comes to trying to gather up a lot of those herbs and stuff when you're trying to craft catch potions, for example. Oh my goodness. So this is going to be a game changer for a lot of us out there. We very much needed that, and I'm glad it's coming. Preview stats and passive effects before crafting. Now we don't have to go look at all the weird websites or go to any additional outside sources to finally see what actual abilities are on the engraves before we craft them. That way we can craft the correct ones based on whatever weapon we're using. So that's also going to be a very nice quality of life, which I feel like should have been there day one, as well as the tracking, but whatever. We're finally here now. Better late than never, right? Okay. New drops added for elite and boss monsters. This is also huge. We can now farm bosses without using keys to get chance drop materials, which is great. Now, if you use your keys, the drops will all be guaranteed, like usual. But the fact that you can do these without keys and still have a chance of getting materials, this is going to save co-op. Because co-op right now goes somewhere along the lines of this. Hey, buddy, can you go help me beat, so-and-so a few times? Sorry, man, I don't have no keys, and I really don't want to have to go out of my way to do that because, I've already done it today. I've already burned all my keys earlier, so I really don't want to go in and just, do bosses over and over again for nothing. Now, granted, you are in a party, you want to try and help the community out best you can, but people have busy lives, they have things going on, and maybe they want to go progress their accounts by going out and do other things that don't require keys. So this kind of saves co-op for a lot of people, including myself, where, on one hand, I do want to help people out, but then on the other hand, it's like, you're kind of like wasting your own personal time, unfortunately, because you're not accomplishing anything. But at least in this way, we're able to still go in and get participation rewards, if you will, for doing things like that. Or if we just want to go out and farm over and over again on our own time, trying to get a whole bunch of resources gathered up without the use of keys. That is huge. So I think this might be one of those, changes that might save the game going forward in the future. Because this is giving you more replay value, more retention rates, and they have to see the numbers that keep going down. This might help kind of make the game a little bit more stable. All right. Let's go to the next thing here. Now, this is another good thing I'm sure a lot of you are excited about. The update celebration check-in event. All the way up to day 14. I'm not a big fan of the day 14 only being a seal, and I don't like there's no gems in here. Now, you did get 5 pulls for both banners, the normal banner and the raid up. That's not very many pulls, let's be honest. When you need 80 to hit pity, you're giving them 5. That isn't really going to help too often. Day 3, you get a free flying pet. Day 7, you get a free proud mustache hawk, which I still think they should redub that to the one pig. We're getting 300 keys, which is really nice. And then you get 2 radiant potions of charm. Go take those and catch your phoenix. You have 15% chance 2 times. I hope for the best. Wish you all luck. Hopefully you get it, because I know me personally, I failed 6 times. Not fun. So let's go ahead and try a couple more. Why not? It's like a slot machine. You don't win the first time, just keep pulling the handle. Eventually you might hit big or you're broke. Either way. All right. Let's see what else we got in here. Okay, we have the Promise of Hope. Explore new regions and complete various missions to earn rewards. We're going to get some more seals, which is good. Hero tokens. Looks like we're going to be getting more regular hero draw tickets. Star fragments. That's what we all really, really need. More limit break crystals, which are good. And then, of course, small cube key bundles. So more keys is always a good thing. So they are handing out some goodies here, which is great to see. I completely skipped over his trials, but this is kind of the same with every new character. I'm sure a lot of you already know, the same song and dance here. You're going to go ahead and get you 300 gems and some various rewards. Yada, yada, yada. Let's see what else we got in here before we get out of here. All right. They have the special live stream celebration gift delivered to your mailbox after the update. 3 cube key bundles. If that's the large ones, that's 150 keys right there. We're going to be getting 3,000 star fragments. So that's a free multi. 500,000 gold, and then 5 hero pickup draw tickets. That's a multi. That's half of a multi. Add that to the other 5 from the login rewards, and that's 2 multis right there. Plus, you add in the new Act 13, plus all the side quests, plus all the first time clears for all the new Abyss modes and the new Gallon. And overall, it's looking like you're going to be doing at least 30-40 pulls on the Escanor from this update alone. And that's just a rough guess. You might be able to do more than that. And that's good. That's a really good thing, because hopefully a lot of you get good luck. You get really good early Escanor pulls, and a lot of you can pull multiple Escanor. So I do hope that is the case and you all have fun. We're also getting 2 new codes here, which I already have linked in the description below, so you guys can just copy and paste into your game and you're good to go. Is that everything? Did we miss anything? I don't believe so. If I miss anything, I do apologize, but the video is already long enough. I think you guys get the idea. You can watch the original video if you like to. Again, it is in the description below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, take notifications. Join us in the Discord in the description below. As always, until next time. And let me know what you guys want to see me unveil next. Until then, peace.